This week is National Law Enforcement Week, and Southwest Virginia departments are taking a look back at their pride, their history, but also their pain. 10 News reporter Shane Dwyer joins us live tonight at Roanoke City Police headquarters with how an annual event helps honor fallen officers. Shane.
Brittany, there's a 24/7 reminder of that risk, and that is the Officer Down Memorial that is placed here in front of the Roanoke City Police Department headquarters. It depicts what can happen in the worst case scenario. A number of agencies from across the region today, not just here in Roanoke City, gathered to pay tribute and remember the folks that went to work and never came home.
A bell for each name, a picture for each face, and a moment of solace for each person who gave it all.
We wrap our arms around the families of the fallen and wrap our arms around the community and let them know that we want you here. We're a part of you. You're a part of us.
Virginia Western Community College Police Chief Craig Harris leading this year's annual Roanoke Valley Law Enforcement Memorial Service. A short but impactful ceremony to honor the 42 men and women who gave their lives for this region.
Well, if you ask anybody on the street, how many officers you think have been killed in the line of duty in the last 100 years in Roanoke, they would never come to the number that we have.
Retired Roanoke Valley Judge Philip Trumpeter gave the keynote remarks this year. He asked people to keep a heart of gratefulness not only for those who have fallen, but those who wear the uniform every day.
It is important that we give tribute to their service and understanding that they're human beings. These are not robots.
The hallmark of this event is the fellowship that comes with it. Every day, officers go to work with this thought on their minds.
It's important that we hold this service to let the public come in and become closer to us and know that we're just people who do a difficult job at times.
A difficult job that comes with the ultimate pain.
Trooper Andrew Fox.
And with each bell, they hope this can be the forever end of the roll call.
12 different agencies were represented at today's memorial service, including some folks that came from the federal level to show their support as well. Now, although today was a sad moment and one that made people think back on history and maybe wasn't the most happiest of times, they say that thinking about those things helped them stay in the right headspace to continue to do their job going forward. Live in downtown Roanoke, Shane Dwyer, 10 News, working for you.